Good morning, beautiful people. Today is Saturday, January 7th, and I am getting ready to go to a networking event. I think this is my first one by myself, and I am very nervous. So I'm hoping that talking about something else will distract from me being nervous. I think I've been in 3 relationships, but each of them had an element of long distance to them. I was thinking about one in particular where we were consistently about an hour and a half away. Now, don't stone me. I know that's not super far. It was just a different dynamic. So, one thing though that I can think about when I think about that situation was, even though there was like what could seem like an obstacle, right? We had our own jobs, our own things we were involved in, but it wasn't even like a question to make time for each other, to prioritize the relationship, to make sure we were intentional about keeping in touch, about spending time together. And I think about even just a relationship that has an obstacle, but 2 people who are committed to working through it. And I was thinking about that with God, because I know for me, one obstacle that I think I don't think about much, like consciously, is the fact that I cannot see or feel God physically, right? All of this is by faith, is by believing his word, by believing what I've seen of miracles, by believing the different confirmations that God is here, is with me, does love me, doesn't leave me, like all these different things that we believe by faith. But part of that includes the reality that I can't physically see God. Like it's not like a neighbor or a roommate or a sibling who you can hold hands with or hug or just talk to face all the time and see them. And so to me, I think sometimes I let that be an obstacle where I shouldn't. And in the same way that the obstacle of distance could have been an issue, I could either choose to focus on how difficult that obstacle is, how constant it is, how challenging it is, or I could focus on, but I'm so committed to this person, to God, that I'm not going to even let that be an issue. Like I'm not even going to give it credence and let it be a reason that I don't put all in, that I'm not giving all of me, that I'm not making time for him, that I'm not valuing what he's saying and what he wants from me. And I think that just, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, there really is no excuse to not give God everything, to not love him with all that I am. Like, he's been so good to me. And the problem, I know one problem, at least for me, is I forget. We as humans are so forgetful. Like, you can say all day, I'm young, I remember everything. And you can remember like the pettiest argument. You can remember an offense. You can remember something someone did that you feel like they were wrong in, and you're not ever going to treat them the same. But remembering God's goodness, remembering to be grateful, remembering all that he's done for you, remembering that he's in charge and not you, not me. We got to remind ourselves. I was talking to my friend earlier this week, and just the reality that as humans, we have to remind ourselves of the goodness of God. We see with the Israelites, we see with God telling them, listen, write these things down. Tell your kids' kids. Like, remember these things. It's just important. We have to. Otherwise, we get so bogged down, so cloudy in our perspective, in our perception, in how we evaluate life, if we're not intentional about remembering the goodness of God, remembering that he is at work here, that there are good things that he has a purpose and a plan for my life, for your life. And I think the more I have been in this season of extended singleness, it just caused me to just really think about the way I am valuing and loving God. Our pastor and our first lady, our apostle, have been talking about it lately, just in terms of obedience and in terms of really valuing God's word and time with him. And so that's kind of just what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. daily, I want to love God better. I want to be so in love with him that I'm not worried about these other things, that these other things don't matter, that they just, that like, if as long as he and I are locked in, I'm good. Like, and that is the goal. Like, only in him do I have peace and joy and just stability. Like, that's something I love about God. I'm not gonna cry in this video, but that today is one thing I'm so grateful for about God. Like, he is always the same. Every day he loves me. Every day he wants to spend time with me. Every day he has a purpose for me. Like, every day he just is so full of love and so full of compassion and so good. And God is a whole being, right? There is a part of him that rebukes and corrects and punishes. All that is still in his love, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that he's just always the same, and I'm grateful, and I love him. And if you do not know him, please get to know him. You can feel free to ask me. I'm happy to talk about him. I'm happy to talk about faith, and just this place of like really wanting to press in to make sure I am loving God well, make sure I am where he wants to be, living the life he wants me to live. And it's a fight. It's a fight to like disregard the life that I thought I was going to have. It's a constant fight. I can't even tell you. It's a constant fight in this season, but I'm so grateful for God. And I'm going to end it there because I already feel it and I've got to get ready to go to this event. So that's it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.